seen more South Africans here at Murrayfield than today. It's you can hear them. They're going crazy. It's going to be a very, very exciting first 20.
It is the biggest match of the Rugby World Cup so far. Just settle back and enjoy it with our commentator.
Paris at the end of the Five Nations. Just van de Westhuizen to Andre Venter, the big flanker. But not before he'd had to take a hit. Yanni de Beer gets his first kick away to touch. There's Yanni de Beer. Just winning his 9th cap today. Probably going to join Sale after this World Cup. They've certainly been in negotiations and it looks as if the contract's been sorted. De Beer again. Brendan Venter, brother of the flanker, going through the middle. Played his club rugby last season for London Irish. Cross comes Glenn Metcalf. Inside to Cammy Murray. And the veteran Armstrong hoists it down to Percy Montgomery. He hoists it again deep into the 22, just looking for space. Glenn Metcalf is back. And away to touch, all very scrappy, Scott.
Yeah, but a good kick there from Glenn Metcalf. It was a sensible play. I thought he put his pressure under Cameron Murray earlier in the 22 there, but these are early moments yet. Nerves will be playing very much a part of the early part of the game.
The all-important lineouts. You've got to find your men. The first one goes to South Africa and Naka Drotska, the hooker. Off the top. Oh, the little dummy held on and nobody was taking any dummies. Big hit there from Andy Leslie. Free kick. That was back to the line out. He must have done Scotland for closing the gap. It's going to be a scrum down to South Africa. And this first scrum, again, is very, very important. Scotland have taken a little bit of a gamble here, playing George Graham, who's not a specialist tight head, against the mighty Oz-Durant. They're conceding something like 11 pounds a man. As George Graham, number 3 for Scotland, up against the mighty Oz-Durant, who is well over 20 stones. Penalty offside against Scotland. Percy Montgomery has stepped up. He's the left footer and he'll be looking to find a touch deep in the Scottish 22. And he's got one just inside it. Clayton Thomas, the Welsh touch judge on that side. Percy Montgomery, who's been under enormous pressure in South Africa. He's had a difficult season, but Nick Mallett stayed with him. Venter taking the ball up for the first time. Oz-Durant trying to burrow his way through. He goes to floor. And Scotland have got the turnover. No, they haven't. Gary Armstrong's disgusted, the referee telling him to be quiet, but they thought it was coming the Scottish side. He's whistled up saying it was an inconclusive ruck and that South Africa will have the put in.
South Africa got a great platform here. Scotland thought they'd stolen the ball, but Colin Hawke was quick on the whistle there.
And I think Scotland might have had just reason to complain.
It's one of these moments where actually the ball popped out the back on the Scotland side, and unfortunately Colin Hawke had blown his whistle at the wrong time.
So the South Africans still in a very, very good attacking position. right in front of the post, so they've got good width both sides of the field, and the put in at the scrum. Oh, and he's fed the ball. Colin Hawke showing that he is going to play the regulations as laid down by the World Cup committee. They want the ball to go in straight at the scrums. Quickly taken, a great little burst from Metcalf. Armstrong to Townsend. Little chip through by Tate. Promising signs.
Scotland looked sharp there. It was great to see Gregor Townsend put the ball through his hands quickly there. Look at that pass. It just gave Tate a little bit of room. Feeds the ball through in the foot there.
The veteran Alan Tate, marvellous player. One of the only 5 players in the tournament to have taken place in the inaugural tournament back in '87. Big bang there from number 6, Rassie Erasmus. Ball's not coming, scrum down, South African put in.
Very good defence there. Gary Armstrong in the thick of the action there, but Martin Leslie took some bump there.
None the worse for it though, straight back up. Very strange, during the anthems, Rassie Erasmus suddenly shot off the field as soon as the South African anthem ended. I don't know whether it was a call of nature or whether he'd forgotten his gum shield or something. Yanni de Beer. Good kick, it stretched Metcalf, but there was Simpson back, he couldn't hold on to the pass. Difficult moment for Scotland, under pressure and found wanting.
Well, Metcalf, he's a very, very keen runner of the ball, but he just put Gordon Simpson under a bit of pressure there. Gordon Simpson knocks on to give South Africa a scrum in Scotland's 22.
Van der Westhuizen feeds again. De Beer, this time he's going to try and run it. A little tiny bit of space there for Robbie Fleck. Big drive from Brendan Venter for his brother Andre. Plays very much as a second 5'8". Poor pass, but Yanni de Beer still has a chance. Tries to wriggle through. Now this time Scotland do have the turnover. De Beer couldn't hold on to it. Rousseau is the man back. Now he can be very elusive, but Metcalf's got a hand to it. Has it broken for him? Go on, says the referee. It wasn't a knock forward. Scotland have it. Can they free it quickly? Well, it's a penalty given against the South Africans if there's no advantage to the Scots. I thought it might have been a penalty right in front of the post. They've given it. Armstrong, what's he going to do? He's the captain as well, the scrum half, so he's the decision maker. But a great chance, Scott, for Scotland.
Marvellous counter-attacking there from Glenn Metcalf. Here we look at the close situation there. It was certainly offside and obviously a high tackle as well, but I think Scotland through Kenny Logan will go for the 3 points.
Kenny Logan took over the duties as the first choice place kicker against Wales last season. And with 9 minutes gone, he has the chance to give Scotland the lead. This must go over. Scotland doesn't just expect, it demands. Nice and cool, didn't try to hit it too hard, through the middle it goes, and Scotland lead 3-0.
Well, the goal kicking is a facet of play that's going to win World Cups, and in Jenkins and Wilkinson, we've got some of the best there. But going back to the action here, here's Rousseau put under a bit of pressure with the bounce of the ball. And although he cleared to touch, look at Metcalf coming. A great follow-up by Metcalf. And had the foresight to go after the ball. Look at him, eyes on the ball. Regather, maybe a hint of the knock-on there.
And Simpson has collected the restart. Big drive, powerful drive. Trying to get something going forward. In go the South Africans. Good control though. Armstrong just telling his forwards to get in there and clean that ball out. South Africans penalised though for playing on the floor. Gregor Townsend, who now plays his rugby down in Breed. Oh, but that's a bad mistake. He's missed the touch. Rousseau gets past 3 men. Now he's brought down. Oh, and Scotland have got the scrum. That's as good as a turnover.
Well, they'll be pleased with that because Gregor Townsend really should have found touch, but 3 missed tackles there to let Rousseau into a very, very strong position, but Scotland's defence was equally strong there.
Rousseau complaining. There's always one black mark against you if you lose the ball after you've taken it into a tackle. Well, so far, the scrums have been indecisive. We haven't really seen an advantage to one side or the other. Down it goes again. We can expect penalties very shortly if this is not sorted out. Referees are not going to tolerate messing around in the front row. The Scottish front row very much shorter than the South African one, and we thought that could cause problems. South Africans getting the pressure on. It was out just before it went down. Townsend, and that's another poor kick. He's outside the 22 and it's skewed off the outside of his boot into touch.
This is where we need Gregor Townsend for Scotland to be at his best there, but we've seen 2 poor kicks from Gregor. He won't enjoy those.
Just a 3-man line out for the Springboks. Allowed to jump unopposed. Joost van der Westhuizen decides to have a little dig himself. That's what he's renowned for, of course. Centre. Oh, and they got backs up against forwards there. Dangerous for Scotland. Joost hauled down. And it was a penalty. He got there very, very quickly, did Budge Pountney. And the reason was that he was offside.
Good hands here, though, from Venter onto Rousseau. Rousseau's a great, great runner of the ball. But we see Pountney going round the right of the ruck there, and you're quite clearly offside, taking Van der Westhuizen.
Yeah, he's got to join that ruck from behind the hindmost foot. He can't come in from the side. So now a very dangerous situation for Scotland. South Africa have a line out just about 3-4 metres out from the Scottish line. Few little Scottish mistakes, Scott, that are putting them under pressure, but when they're getting it together, they seem to be matching the South Africans at the moment.
That's correct. What we've got to see is Gregor Townsend especially eliminating these mistakes from his game. He can't afford to put his teammates under pressure. And if we can just get out of this area, Scotland may well survive.
Andrews at the front of the line out. Van den Berg, it goes to Venter, though even further back. And a big drive. They're swinging it round to try and get over. Can they find a way through? The Scots regroup. Brilliant tackle, just kept out over the line. That was Drotzka trying to get over. They have to feed. Yanni de Beer. Wriggling through goes Rassie Erasmus. Penalty to the South Africans again. It was a Scottish hand that got the ball back their side. Desperate defence.
It was fantastic defence, but handling on the ruck gives away the 3 points.
Gary Armstrong, as you'd expect, pretty calm. He's seen it all before.
It was wonderful play here from the South Africans off the drive, off the line out, but the defence was secure from Scotland, but maybe a hint of a hand there. to get that ball back in the maul.
Well, if it was a hint to you, it was a cast iron certainty to the referee, Scott, but he's not a Scot, is he?
Well, he was slightly closer to the action after all.
So, a chance for the Springboks to level the score. Yanni de Beer. Now, his kicking is not always all it should be, so it's important for him that this goes. And it does, inside the right post. So, everything level. 3-3 after 15 minutes. Townsend with a good high. That's a great kick-off because Scotland have come up with the ball. And a knock-on first. There was a knock-on from Scotland as well, but I think the South Africans knocked on first, so the Scots get the put in.
George Graham taking this ball. He just gets it knocked out of his hand, and Colin Hawke adjudges that ball forward.
Armstrong, Townsend. And can Leslie and Townsend work the magic? No, they can't. Leslie swamped. And they have to release that quickly, and it wasn't quick enough. You could see that coming all the way. The referees are going to be very quick on people holding on to the ball to stop the opposition getting it on the floor. Simpson, the culprit. But to be fair to him, Scott, he didn't have much choice.
Well, South Africa were up very quickly there on Leslie, who's got a great capacity of offloading ball, but they've obviously pinpointed him from a defensive pattern.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think they'll know that if they can stop that magic between Townsend and John Leslie, they will manage to stop the Scottish team, because that really was a revelation last season, and that 20 minutes of rugby they produced in France was the best I think I've ever seen from a Scottish team. There he is, John Leslie. New Zealand, Wellington-born, of course, son of Andy Leslie, the former All Blacks captain. Rassie Erasmus out to Brendan Fenker. But it's messy. Joost van der Westhuizen now has it. Back inside to Drotska, but he spilled it. Away comes Armstrong, there's space out on the left. Content at the moment just to go for distance, and Percy Montgomery just tamely steps into touch.
Well, Kenny Logan ran out of space and put his left boot in it. He was Joost van der Westhuizen taking it inside. But here's the knock on. But Gary Armstrong, sharp as a tack there. Look at him creating the space for Logan. Pops it onto his left foot.
This is the bit that surprised me. I thought he had time to do something, but into touch penalty, Scotland. And Colin Hawke, I think, just saying to them, you're on the ground, messing around with the ball. I'm not having it from either side. Just please get away from it. That's what the referees are going to be insistent upon all the way through this World Cup. There's the glamour boy of South African rugby, Bobby Skinstad. Still waiting to see whether he is all he's cracked up to be. Kenny Logan with another chance. Coming up to 19 minutes gone. This is a more difficult kick, but still only about 35 metres. Well, he struck it well. Oh, beautifully over. Logan is in form, and that's good for Scotland. They retake the lead. Scotland 6, South Africa 3.
That's a second successful penalty goal for Scotland, number 11, Kenny Logan.
long kick into the 22. Armstrong feeds Simpson. Set it up well. Townsend. That's a better kick. Really got that one torpedoing away.
And that's the type of kick we're looking from Gregor Townsend. That just lifts his forwards as they run up there towards the halfway line. Good play from Scotland. Great take from the kick-off by Simpson. The forwards cleared the ball, and Townsend drove that ball down to the halfway line.
He's got to do those basics well. He's one of the most exciting attacking fly halves in the world. But there are times when all the forwards want is to be pushed forward. Well, that very nearly was Scotland winning a line-out, but the Scots couldn't quite get it. There was a knock-on by the Scots, so it would be a scrum to South Africa because there was no advantage. De Beer. Oh, and that's Rousseau coming into the midfield, shaking everybody off. Brought down in the end by Stuart Grimes. The second row forward getting him. Big Andre Fenter. He'll carry the ball up all day long. Montgomery into the fly half position. Rousseau, they can't let his pace go. Skinstad tries to pass inside. Rescued by Fleck. Oh, and flicked up to Drotska. And it was played off the ground by Rassie Erasmus. And as he had been tackled and hadn't regained his feet, that is a penalty, I'm afraid.
Well, South Africa looking dangerous again. Rousseau, he's a big man. He gets the inside shoulder there and bursts out the tackle of Budge Poutney there at number 7 for Scotland. He's a dangerous runner.
Again, you can see, Scott, these referees putting down their markers and saying this is how we're going to referee it in these early stages, so you better get used to it because we're not going to change. You, the players, have got to do that.
They are. They're being very, very strict in the line-out and on the scrum feeds.
Well, Scotland have already lost one line-out. It was also significant on the way play's going that they've actually only thrown in on one occasion. Big Durant through the middle. Good position now for South Africa to attack. Wide it goes now for South Africa to attack. Wide it goes, but a bit of a misunderstanding. Carried on by Brendan Fenter. Fleck made the first run. Scrum down to South Africa. Well, it appeared to be coming. Joost van der Westhuizen looking towards the touch judge, asking him to intervene, and Didier Mene saying everything's fine as far as I'm concerned.
Here we see Venter taking the ball in the tackle. Good physical tackling from Scotland there.
Left by Skinstad to Brendan Fenter in the try. A great little set move. And Brendan Fenter goes over on the left. The Scots really caught hopping by that set move from the scrum. Van der Westhuizen went off right, and Skinstad moved it left.
Now watch the angle of running here from Venter. He gets the angle, goes for the corner. Armstrong just not quick enough to get across for the covering tackle. Fantastic running there from Venter. It was obviously a set plan move, and he had enough space and just enough room to squeeze in at the corner.
Well, that shows just how dangerous they are. There he is, Brendan Fenter, one of the few Springboks who's not just a full-time professional rugby player, he's a medical doctor as well. Played in London Irish last season, of all clubs to find himself at, and then went back to South Africa to reclaim his place in the Springbok team. Yanni de Beer with the conversion attempt from the touchline. Oh, he's hit it beautifully, right through the middle. Things going well for South Africa. They now lead 10 points to 6.
just looking at the scrum feed there, first of all, that's what gave the whole pace into the movement. Mentor stretches legs. Wonderful try.
Back to Percy Montgomery. He spirals it away left-footed. Metcalf. Tate goes round the outside. Chips the ball back into the 22. Montgomery with another clearance, half charged down by Metcalf. And that was really unlucky for the Scots. It was touched in flight, so the South Africans not offside. Back comes Townsend. Flicks it inside, the Scots in trouble in their own 22. Simpson trying to get his hands on it and get back to his feet. Well, hands from both sides, and the referee deciding that Scotland get the put in. Desperate stuff, but if the put in had gone the other way, that could have been a very, very disastrous little phase of play for Scotland.
Well, no Scots could quite claim the ball, but look at number 6 there, Gordon Simpson with the helmet. Absolutely outstanding play to win the ball.
But the Scots got really unlucky. I mean, Metcalf within an inch of actually charging the ball down properly in the South African 22. One of those situations where he puts the whole of the South African side, who were all in an offside position, onside.
It's one of these obscure rules in rugby union when there's a half touchdown or charge down from a Scotland hand. Suddenly everybody, as you said, John, is played onside. And suddenly South Africa had numbers there and were very unfortunate not to score.
Well, you can bet the South Africans will now really try and put the pressure on the Scots. They're only 3 or 4 metres from the line. The Scots have held them well. Armstrong. Well, he's only cleared straight to Rousseau, and he's dangerous in space. Cuts inside. Montgomery comes from the back. He's got pace too. Erasmus. Oh, it comes out loose, but he was in an offside position. Now, Leslie was well offside. He'd never got back into an onside position, even though the ball was out. And De Beer has signalled he's going for goal.
Well, John Leslie will be kicking himself. It's one of these situations in a rugby field where the ball pops out the back of a ruck. You know, your instant reaction is actually just to pick it up, and rightly he was penalised for being in an offside position.
Yeah, he'd have been fine if he'd got back behind the hindmost foot and then come forward, but he was loitering with intent in the eyes of the touch judge, because it was Didier Mene who pointed that one out to the referee. Played his first game against the Lions in '97. And of course the British team upset all the odds by defeating the Springboks in the Test series when they were given no chance at all when they left Britain. South Africa leading 10-6. De Beer with a chance to stretch that further. And he hasn't wasted it. Straight through the middle goes the kick again. 13-6 to South Africa. 28 minutes gone. Handled by the South Africans. Oh, that wasn't so clever though. Montgomery suddenly having to clear, but he's, my goodness, he's done it beautifully. For a moment I thought that was going to roll into touch. Glenn Metcalf. Kick and chase. Off he goes. He's got real pace. Montgomery's outside the 22, so he can't mark the ball. And well done, the Scots forwards. They've robbed him of the ball. Back it comes Scotland's side. Lovely cut-out pass, chip forward, and there's going to be a penalty to Scotland. I think it was taking a man out off the ball.
Lovely play here, but look at this. Oh, just taken out. Robbie Fleck there just went straight for the man. There was no attempt. He took Leslie straight out, no attempt to actually go for the ball, and that's the reason the penalty was awarded by Colin Hawke.
And Razzie Erasmus is better watch it as well. He then, after Tate had just chipped through, had a little whack at him. But no question, that was against Fleck on John Leslie, just racing up on the man, and a penalty attempt now for Kenny Logan as a result of it. But terrific work as Montgomery was collared to just wrestle that ball free. One of the front row forwards, I couldn't quite see who, but they did very well indeed. Percy Montgomery, there were big calls to drop him for the final couple of matches in the Tri-Nations series, but Mallet showed his faith, kept with him, and he came up with a pretty big game against Australia in South Africa's final Tri-Nation series. That was the match they won in Cape Town, which put their show back on the road. Logan drills it straight through the middle. 3 out of 3 for him. Scotland back in touch. 39.
Well, Kenny Logan there matching Yanni de Beer 3 out of 3 kicks.
I think the PA announcer thinks he's announcing the heavyweight championship of the world. Good kick. Gregor finding his touch just outside the Springbok 10-metre line. It landed on the line, but much further down, but it obviously sped into touch there first. South Africa 62% of possession to Scotland's 38%. Scotland have got to up that. They got through on that line out. Well done, they've stolen it. Gregor Townsend, Kenny Logan, kick and chase. And he can't get to it, a chance for Scotland. Now, if he hangs on there, it's going to be a penalty Scotland. He's got to get off that ball. Well, they did very well with the Springboks, but Clayton Thomas, I think, is signalling there was a little knock forward. So it's going to be a scrum down to Scotland.
Well, Bobby Skinstad there, he goes for a diving catch, rather like a cricketer there. But Alan Tate, great follow-up. Glenn Metcalf just behind. And as play unfolds, there's obviously just a hint of a knock-on there. And Clayton Thomas, the touch judge, has actually signalled that.
So Scotland, just a couple of metres short. Back it comes. Townsend, this time, goes himself. Been wrapped up by the South Africans. Is it going to come? And it's the equivalent, at least, of a turnover. Gregor Townsend couldn't get the ball back on the right side, and the South Africans isolated him.
Big defence there from South Africa. You know, that's pressure rugby, showing a defence like that. Coming up and obviously keeping a check on Gregor Townsend, who can open up many a defence.
That's slewed through 90 degrees, so it'll be reset. Still the Springboks put in. Yost feeds. Yanni de Beer. Well, Gregor Townsend was just close enough to get into his eyes, and that made him snatch at it. And the result is a short touch rather than a long one, so Scotland have still got the line out in a very useful position.
Scotland will be looking for Gordon Bullock to hit his jumpers here. The one quick ball off the top of this line out.
Off the top that time from Scott Murray. Armstrong. Great charging run. And Armstrong, great little break from the scrum half. Over! Try there for Martin Leslie, through the gap like a shot. Oh my goodness, Scotland suddenly into the lead. Wonderful, wonderful bit of play from Scotland. First from the captain, Gary Armstrong, and then from Martin Leslie.
Well, the whole of Murrayfield's just erupted here as Leslie, he pinpoints the gap here. Look at his body position, drives to the line, dots the ball over the line. But what a run by Gary Armstrong on the angle to set up a...
Real awareness, the way he stretched through there, knew he'd probably get stopped, but that his arms get through and get it over. That's terrific. Martin Leslie's 4th try for Scotland. Stoking up the bagpipes, that's what they'll want to do for that one. And Kenny Logan with a chance to give Scotland a 3-point lead. Well, the angle doesn't look, from our camera angle there, quite as severe as it is. It's only about 14 metres in from touch, but it doesn't make any difference to Kenny Logan. Over it goes, and Scotland lead 16 points to 13.
Well, this is shaping up as a cracker of a game, but again, Leslie drives over the line there. Good awareness. The South Africans thought he was going to break right, he broke left. You notice number 11 Rousseau is out there. Venter goes, that leaves the space on the other side as he goes for the line.
Simpson again takes the kick-off safely, makes 10 metres. Grimes just taking his eye off that one, says sorry to his captain. 16-13. Grimes very anxious. He and Scott Murray have formed such an effective partnership. He only got into the side because Doddy Weir was injured, and then Doddy Weir couldn't get his place back. There's the other Leslie twin, John Skinstad at the back. In the back burrows George Graham to try and stop this driving ball from the South Africans. The Scots have got to keep getting round. The South Africans have made at least 15 metres. Now it comes back. Left to Fenter. Good tackle. That was John Leslie bringing him down. Andre Fenter. Knocked forward by the Scots, not a penalty. It's a scrum to South Africa.
Well, with 38 minutes on the clock, this is a crucial part of the game. Very, very evenly matched, with Scotland just edging South Africa 16 points to 13.
Scotland would so much love to go into half-time with a lead. Can they keep them out? Oh, and that'll help. Big fumble by Skinstad. Hacked away. And Leslie after it like a shot, trying to chase down Montgomery. He can do nothing more than just punt it into touch.
Well, Bobby Skinstad here with a crucial error at the base of the scrum.
Now, that might just be because he's feeling his injury. He's had a really bad knee injury, and it's when you've got to get down and pick those balls up off the floor that you feel those things, Scott.
It's often also about concentration there. It just seemed to, the strike of the ball coming back from the scrum there just wasn't spot on for Bobby Skinstad to pick up, and Scotland capitalised.
Well, he's got a lot to live up to, because half of South Africa doesn't believe Teichmann should have been dropped for him. Alan Tate, chip and go, away goes Logan. Chasing hard, Montgomery. He's forced to take it into touching goal himself. Oh, I think that was a... Oh no, he has given the decision I expected. For a moment I thought he'd signalled a 22, but what a great kick.
Well, a deft little chip there from Alan Tate, and of course Percy Montgomery carried over the line and therefore relinquished possession for a Scotland scrum.
Yeah, he could feel Tate breathing down his neck. He didn't dare hesitate. Armstrong, Leslie, hard tackle from Rassie Erasmus, but Scotland still have it. And the Scots on fire. Townsend, little shimmy, they're not buying that though. Now this is where Scotland have got to be careful. Robbie Fleck. Back it comes, that's Skimstat. It's where he's good in the wide open spaces. Yanni De Beer, Montgomery. Rolled over by Gary Armstrong, they're trying to get him over the top. The ball's coming though. Rousseau playing scrum half. Into touch. We played a minute of injury time. Quickly taken by Metcalf to himself. Cuts outside Visachi. Skimstat touched it and almost put Rousseau off, but didn't quite. He's bundled into touch and the crowd go wild.
This is exciting games of rugby. Rugby World 99 coming alive here at Murrayfield.
Just a little moment to catch the breath. But a great last 10 minutes for Scotland, and that's so important. Just at one moment, straight after South Africa scored their try, it looked as if they might be taking control. Now Scotland have wrested it back from them.
Well, that's right. It was actually the little turning point in the last few minutes is Bobby Skinstan's error in Scotland's 22, and suddenly it was Scotland up at the other end putting South Africa under pressure.
And Scotland will feel so good about that try. Bobby Skinstad. So they were talking down in Cape Town when I was there in August of Bobby Mania. So much, the glamour boy, all sorts of rumours that he's earning millions and millions of rand in commercial deals, and quite a few people are down there saying there's a big danger. He's got to be careful he doesn't lose the plot. He's got to remember that rugby is what he's all about. Going there to Eldert van den Berg. Joost van der Westhuizen puts it to Yanni De Beer. Gathered in beautifully by Martin Leslie. Gary Armstrong has it. There's nobody in there behind Rousseau, but he can get back and mark that if he wants to. Not a good option from the Scottish captain. You can't allow anybody to catch it on the full. Well, they've come out of it not too badly, because the South Africans have only made about 15 metres or so. The referee says that's it, the half-time whistle goes, and a sight that Scottish eyes will absolutely love. The scoreboard, Scotland 16, South Africa 13.
They're on their feet here at Murrayfield. Fabulous stuff coming up. Francois Pienaar with the view from the Springbok corner, and Gavin Hastings on a great half for the away side.
A great game.
This match certainly not won yet. The Scots will be feeling confident, having taken that lead into half-time, but they know there's everything still to do. Nick Mallet, worried man, I'm sure, but he won't be totally lost in confidence at the moment, because he knows that his team have got plenty of time to get this back. But what a merry-go-round bumper ride he's been on, because the South Africans went that 17 games, almost beating the All Blacks record number of successive games, and then suddenly last season there he was, having to win against Australia to prevent a whitewash in the Tri-Nations. He did that, and some people said if he hadn't done it, he'd have been facing the sack himself. There were certainly calls. I was out there in South Africa at the time, and the hostility towards him, particularly for the way in which he got rid of Gary Teichmann, the very popular skipper, made him a very easy target. Colin Hawke just checking the clocks, and off we go into the second half. Yanni de Beer, beautifully taken. There's Scott Murray. Back to Rousseau, he finds Montgomery. Quick look from Montgomery, he's got a big boot, that could go all the way dead. It doesn't though, it lands beautifully. Got to be careful, because if he kicked the ball dead in the in-goal area there, that would have been a scrum back from where he kicked it. Just van der Westhuizen flicks it up, but it's a wild one. The Scots get a hand in. Not retreating, they were in front of the kicker. He didn't retreat 10 metres, and Colin Hawke penalising the Scots. He says they can have scrum or kick. They're going for the scrum, back near to the Scottish line.
Well, Gregor Townsend apparently putting Scotland under pressure, but look at this scrum, it's way back. But not quite clear actually why we're away back here. It might have been a forward pass actually.
No, he was saying you've got a kick or a scrum. I definitely heard that, so it must have been that's where he judged the kick to have been taken. If players are in front, they must get out of that 10-metre area. They can't just hang around and do nothing. The scrum's gone up. Colin Hawke's penalising nobody, but he'll reset the scrum. A very dangerous situation. We saw how well the Scots defended in the first half in a situation like this, but the last thing they wanted was this at the start of the second. Big push from that powerful South African scrum. It's slewed all the way round. It's gone through 90 again. That will not be a score.
Well, real pressure coming on from the South African 8 there. Skinstad was controlling the ball well, but it's all to do with the scrummaging setup of the front row.
Now, will they go for the same again? Skinstad, they've twirled it round through 90, and the moment it goes through 90, they have to reset the scrum. So the Scots are using that as their best line of defence. They can't be seen to deliberately wheel it, but it's very hard to detect if you just take the pressure off on one side and stick it on double the pressure on the other. This one's gone down. Now the Scots have got to be careful. All the pressure appears to be on them, and this is the sort of situation where you sometimes see referees suddenly taking off to the posts and blaming the defending side. Once again, the push is on. Colin Hawke watching very quickly. It's come out the other side. Scotland have got the ball. Cameron Murray setting it up. Gary Armstrong comes out with it. He hasn't found touch. Glenn Metcalf gets Montgomery, but he gets his pass away. And through goes Dion Kaiser. And away goes Robbie Fleck. Well, just as it appeared that Scotland had lifted the siege, they missed two vital tackles on the far side as South Africa moved the ball, and Scotland have paid the ultimate penalty.
Here's the ball here from Venter, finds a little bit of space. Superb running, and again we've got the angle there, and Robbie Fleck has the pace to outstrip John Leslie. There's Percy Montgomery, he shrugs off two tackles there from Alan Tate and Gary Armstrong. Brendan Venter takes the ball on, Kaiser then feeds out, and there's all the room in the world for Robbie Fleck to outstrip the Scotland defence.
Well, that was just two bad missed tackles at the start. Scotland had done the hard work, it appeared, by getting away from that siege down in the corner. But now they find themselves 18-16 behind. And this time the kick is wide of the left post, so just 2 points in it. But now it's South Africa leading, 18-16.
Well, here we see Montgomery. He goes for that up the ball. Tate misses him. He steps off his left foot. Armstrong misses him. And that's what opened up the space. There was Brenton Venter to take the ball on. And that's what set up the try.
Joost van der Westhuizen wriggling free. Again, the Scottish tackling not quite as tight as it might have been. Gordon Bullock, the Scottish hooker, who must find his man. Back it goes. Scott Murray, and the Scots get a good drive on. Back it comes Armstrong. Gregor Townsend juggled a shade, gets it away to Logan. Townsend again. Pushes the ball through. I just heard Colin Hawke, the referee, warning both sets of forwards to keep hands off the legs in the lineouts. This directive which threw the top teams, saying they have to lift above the waist. Oh, and Joost van der Westhuizen starting to look very dangerous, just making those yards and getting in front of his forwards. Back it comes, out to De Beer. Oh, and knocked on by Fleck. I think Colin Hawke missed that at first, but his touch judge told him it was a knock-on, and so Scotland have to scrum.
Well, that was dangerous for Scotland, and Robbie Fleck, just a minute of concentration there. Good pass by De Beer, and you could see that the eyes of Robbie Fleck weren't actually on the ball.
Leslie, dummies. The South Africans cling on in there to make the tackle. Well, the ball lost forward by Scotland. A little knock on there, and South Africa will get the put in. Scotland, you feel, Scott, just need to actually get a bit of control of their game again. It's all a bit frantic for a moment.
This pivotal role of 10 and 12 between Townsend and Leslie. Each time they've shown the ball, gone for a dummy, gone for a half break, they've been snapped up by the South African defence.
In South Africa, a tactical change for them. On comes the big man, Crino Otto, and the roly-poly prop, Ollie LaRue. Both of them impact players. LaRue loves to run. Off comes Os Durant. And also off comes Mark Andrews. There he is, South Africa's most capped player. Driving run again from Brendan Venter. He's been very effective in the centre. Rasmus driving forward. This is big Andre Venter. Just tried to offload to Yanni De Beer, and it was just a tiny bit too risky. Away comes Glenn Metcalf. That lovely sidestep that we know he can come up with. Logan onto him. And the Scots, can they come up with the ball? Scrum down to Scotland and knocked forward by the South Africans. I thought I saw one from the Scots first, but the referee didn't, and that's all that counts.
Great running here. Watch Metcalf. He always goes for the step off his left foot, but stays big. Seems to offload in the tackle to Kenny Logan. A hint of a knock-on coming up here. Logan gets absolutely crunched. It looked as though the ball went, but Colin Hawke missed.
Good position for the Scots. Picked up by Simpson. He got away quickly. Makes 5 metres. Good drive from Martin Leslie. Tom Smith in there, Townsend offloads it. Cameron Murray still going. Now he's held. Good refereeing from Colin Hawke. He's being very honest there. He's saying, that's not going to come, I don't think. I can't call anything else. It'll have to be a scrum to Scotland. He desperately wanted it to go.
Great hands there for Murray, though, but the ball just slow in coming back, and Scotland failed to get the opportunity to get the ball back.
Young Cameron Murray is 24 years old. His 12th game for Scotland. That scrum just looking a little bit as if it's starting to creep for Scotland. Remember, the South Africans have brought on 2 new men. Ollie LaRue, no mean scrummager, and Kraino Otto, an enormous man. 18 stones plus. Chip through, can Leslie get to it? Dion Kaiser came up with the ball. The little man jumped very bravely. And he got the ball under control. Back it went to Montgomery. Still in play. Metcalf again, looking to cut back. Juggled by Murray. Scotland mustn't let him be isolated. That's a much better setup. Now they've got a bit of space. Townsend. Now they've got some room out wide. Back inside. Big second row. Scott Murray who set that one up. Now they've still got it. Chip and go from Townsend. Leslie's there first. It's a yard short. Now Scotland have got to come up with the ball. But no, it's Just van der Westhuizen who gets there. Great play from the Scots. But now they've got to go all the way back again. Now they've got space left. A great pass across from Armstrong. Logan, he gets it wide to Simpson. Wide again, this time Murray. Sidestep a winger would have been proud of. Great stuff from the Scots. Logan in it again. Little Tom Smith, the stocky prop. Still Scotland. Townsend. Tate picked up beautifully. Tried to go through the gap, but no, he lost it. And offside against the South Africans. A chance for Scotland to retake the lead. And he's just showing what he penalised them for, going in from the side instead of the back.
Wonderful, exciting play there from Scotland to keep the ball alive through 6, 7, 8 phases of possession. Here we see Armstrong in the reverse angle with Gregor Townsend, looking for space. We found the space through the kick. Leslie, great angle of running, but wonderful defence there from Dion Kaiser.
Really good defence from the little man. There's not much of Kaiser. He's only 5'9" and 12 stone 4, but he did so well. And just before that, he'd actually leapt to take a kick when everybody was in there. John Leslie looking as if he's in a spot of trouble after that. Let's hope it's not serious, because he is vital to Scotland's chances.
Well, we talked about the 10-12 link between Townsend and Leslie. Townsend saw there was nobody at home at full-back there. Percy Montgomery was caught up in the ruck. He popped the little chip kick over. Leslie chased, and it looks as though he might have done an ankle or knee ligament. That's worrying times for Scotland.
That really will be bad luck. I mean, he looks well in control, doesn't seem to be in huge pain. Let's hope that it's something that they're just trying to contain, but it's not good, that's for sure. The man who's come on, Jamie Mayer. Just winning his second cap. He made his debut against South Africa last year. Scored 3 tries in the qualifier against Portugal, but Scotland, for some obscure reason, decided to go the other way to all the other countries in the world and not award caps for World Cup qualifiers. Kenny Logan, big kick for him. Scotland trailing 18-16. He's looked at it long and hard. Oh, and he's got it through the middle just for one moment. It looked as if he'd snatched at it, but he's got it. Scotland back in the lead. 19-18 the score.
Outstanding kicking here from Kenny Logan. He sort of snatched at that. Well, wonderful kick there to have a 100% record so far in this game.
Huge hoop back. Skinstat's the man there. Heath Rousseau. Dion Kaiser. Tricky little runner, but he's run straight into Scots this time, and they've got a hand on it. Penalty, men on the floor holding on to the ball. That's what Scotland wanted. Get away from it. You can see from his hand signals what he's saying. Get away from the ball. You cannot play it once you've been tackled and you're on the floor.
Well, Scotland just getting the edge in the penalties to concede. South Africa 7, Scotland 6, and Kenny Logan's going to have a pop-at goal here from just inside the South African half.
Now that's interesting, because he's not the longest of kickers, is he, Scott?
He's not, but there's 3 points going a-begging. He's kicking like a dream this afternoon, and his concentration is going to be full on for this particular kick-at-goal.
With the angle, that has got to be just about 50 metres. Well, no wonder they're happy. The problem is, it's only 56 minutes gone at the moment. There's a long time to that final whistle, and they've got to be ahead when that goes. Kenny Logan plays his club rugby, of course, for Wasps down in London. 19-18, the Scots lead. Can he put clear water between the two sides? Nope, that's not long enough. Ollie LaRue underneath it, looks for Montgomery. And the Scots thinking about the quick one, but thinking better of it in the end. Isn't it strange? Once you get a long kick, you try and hoof it harder, and he didn't hit that one at all.
Well, we obviously questioned the length of Kenny Logan, but he's got such a short run-up, actually. He didn't seem to get enough weight through the ball.
Well, that was a strange old throw, and Scotland have lost it. That was a very, very poor throw. Not straight and not long enough at all. And now the referee calling them back because it wasn't straight and giving the scrum to South Africa.
Yes, Gordon Bullock's just thrown a couple down the wrong side. He just hasn't quite hit his target jumper, so it's something that Scots will have to be wary of for the remainder of the game.
Skinstat, he's away. This is what he's renowned for. Running in the wide open spaces. Kaiser. Robbie Fleck has got pace to burn as well. Martin Leslie. It'll be a scrum even if there is no advantage to Scotland because of the knock-on. But they've got control at the moment. Townsend. Well, he's sliced his kick. And Montgomery. Wide to Rosso. Now he's got a lot of space and he's got terrific pace. Too much for Bullock, that's for sure. Townsend. Just van der Westhuizen to De Beer to Venter. Just van der Westhuizen, 2-on-1 on the left, and away and over goes number 17, Ollie LaRue. Very, very quick for a prop, and when he saw the line beckoning, he needed no urging. renowned as a running, try-scoring prop in South Africa, and now he's done it in the World Cup in Scotland.
Well, he's a happy man there, but Van der Westhuizen, he was going to go the other way, but he threw a lovely pass. It was obviously the call there. And look at this for a big man in prop. Great ball handling there, ball in two hands. A feint of a dummy there just to send Cammy Murray out onto the wing, and nobody's going to stop the big man from there.
Has to be said, Scott, though, the big problem goes back way beyond this. It all came from that missed kick again from Gregor. One moment brilliant, but he hasn't done the basics quite as well as Scotland need if they're to mount a challenge in this World Cup.
Absolutely, and because Bobby Skinstad, that was the Skinstad that all South Africa likes to see. Ball in hand, running, at least 40, 50 metres down the pitch there to set up that great opportunity for South Africa to take the lead.
23-19 at the moment. Yanni de Beer with the chance to make it 25-19. It's over. And instead of clear water between the sides, Scotland's way, South Africa opening up a lead, 25-19.
Coming on is number 19, Peter Walton, replacing number 8, Gordon Simpson.
Well, here's a great little runner, Ollie Leroux. Barrelling over. Just Van der Westhuizen. Up it goes to Gary Armstrong. Metcalf comes off his foot, but there's 4 South Africans lining up to tackle him. Nevertheless, he gets the ball back. Gregor Townsend puts it wide. Murray in trouble. Doing very well. Drives forward. That should come back Scotland's side. Gregor Townsend. Oh, and trouble. Cases away. And that's always the problem. They're playing catch-up rugby. And Dion Kaiser. That could easily be the decisive score. And again, it came from a Scotland mistake.
Well, Scotland have put themselves under pressure by throwing ball. You just felt if they could just weather the storm over the next few minutes to get themselves into a position within South Africa half. They just needed a bit of calm there, but here we saw Gregor Townsend trying to throw the long ball. He was under pressure. South Africa were up, and Dion Kaiser pounces on the ball, escapes the tackle out of Metcalf. But to start with, Murray just missed the ball there, a former basketball international. And unfortunately, it was Gregor Townsend's mistake that has led to Dion Kaiser going over for the simplest of tries.
De Beer, that's a simple kick, he's not going to miss that. And now Scotland into the last quarter, and they find themselves suddenly way, way behind. 32-19 to South Africa. I've been so impressed with little Dion Kaiser. What a good player he is. Scotland on the restart, but South Africa have it. Fenter, that's Skinstad out in the centre. But he lost the ball. That will come back for a knock-on and scrum down to Scotland. They badly need something from this, Scott.
Well, if Scotland are going to get back in the game, they must capitalise on those errors. Skinstad again with another error. His second mistake, just putting South Africa under a little bit of pressure, but Scotland need a steadying hand here from the scrum.
Armstrong has it. Van der Westhuizen just got a hand in there to spoil his pass. That's what caused the poor pass and the knock-on. De Beer chasing hard. Trying to get Armstrong out of the way. Saying he was obstructing him, but not so really. See that? Just a hand in from Ewist.
It was just Van der Westhuizen there actually putting his opposite number, Gary Armstrong, just under the slightest of pressure. A poor pass there, but again, good awareness of the space from South Africa.
Well, there's Ian McGeechan and Jim Telfer, the Scottish coaches, Well, a tackle there. Now Scotland come up with it. Keeping it going. Beautifully picked up by Bullock. That was a difficult one, but they've lost the ball now. Drotzka can't get it back. De Beers now got the ball under control. He hoofs it. Logan, I think, got forced into touch.
Yanni De Beer just sticking it down the line here. Kenny Logan goes up to take the ball. Great catch, but then bundled into touch to allow South Africa the put in at the line out.
Oh, they missed their man. That was Martin Leslie who picked it up at the back. Tate going through the middle. Scots just flicking it away. Armstrong, he just puts it behind the backs, but that's possession given away. And Montgomery just lets fly. Straight, no, not straight into touch. It ended up as a great touch. Scotland will have the throw in, but South Africa deep in their 22.
Again, Scotland just feeling the pressure, but there's Nick Mallett there. He's obviously inspired his team to this performance, but it's through Scotland's errors.
I'm not so sure he's inspired him, but he's looking a slightly more relaxed and animated than he would have been, because I think he was a worried man, but suddenly the pressure on him eased, because South Africa, as you say, capitalising on Scottish errors. And that's Drotzka. And Scotland have got to watch it. De Beer, did he get it down? No, he didn't. A knock on. But so close to scoring the fly half. He lost it as he went over, ruled the referee.
Watch the angle that De Beer comes in. Look at him hitting it here. Expects the pass, but he's high in the tackle. And Armstrong just gets a leg in there as De Beer goes to put the ball down.
"27 minutes gone in the second half. Scotland trailing 32 points to 19. They've got to break out from this position. Townsend. Well, he hasn't found touch again. Perhaps he didn't mean to. Montgomery. They can't let him through. Almost wriggled free, but no, Scotland have come up with the ball. That's good news for them. Now they've got men out wide. Tate giving pace to the movement. Back it goes. It didn't go forward. Gary Armstrong. But he just goes into touch before he can release it.
Well, Scotland throwing everything here in the last few minutes at South Africa, just looking for that break. Getting the ball out. Young Jamie Mayer there, ball in two hands, and Alan Tate loops round to create the space. He just about lost it. In fact, lucky to get away without a knock-on.
Yeah, I think he was expecting Kenny Logan to come inside, but the winger stayed out, and he was suddenly running up a dead end, wasn't he? Vandenberg, and Joos van der Westhuizen round the front. He'll do it sometime in the match. It's just a question of when, and that time Scotland were caught. Venter frees it. Erasmus. It didn't go forward, says the referee. Rousseau. Montgomery, he's got speed. Hasn't got into touch. The Scots have got to get people over there. Now it is, in touch. Says Mene.
Well, you just feel that South Africa are just putting the squeeze on Scotland here. Good pass by Rousseau out there, but excellent defence by Cameron Murray, who nailed his man in the corner.
Scott, the Scots have got to play catch-up rugby. They've got to take some risks, but they can't afford to do this. Penalty to Scotland. Erasmus just being spoken to. I did nothing wrong, ref. Just jump for it. Townsend. A few ironic cheers from the crowd. I think they realise that he's been a little bit erratic today.
Yes, unfortunately, I think he's put his team under a bit of pressure, but they've got to rally round him now to get the best out of the team.
Dion Kayser having scored the try. On comes Brendan Folser. A maul ball, the referee explaining, and he's giving the put in there for South Africa. Lovely look always on Colin Hawke's face when he knows that the players are trying one on. Yanni de Beer coming back down the other side. Good pace from him, but the little flick inside pass didn't go to hand. Scotland have the put in at the scrum.
Here we go here, Townsend just standing there, gets himself in the way there. A hint of a knock-on, picked up by Colin Hawke. Bit scrappy there from South Africa.
And the South Africans were worried about Yanni de Beer having to come in, Scott. Henry Hannibal, they wanted his experience, but Yanni de Beer's done well.
He certainly has, and he's certainly given all the confidence to the South Africans, who seem to just picked up the whole intensity of the game over the last sort of 5-10 minutes. I think they've really been spurred on by really Scotland's errors.
Still the South African put in. And away goes De Beer. Maisie running from the fly half. They're also worried about where he's going to pass it. They almost failed to tackle him. Penalty, he's playing it on the floor after the tackle. Scotland now running it from their own line. Martin Leslie keeping it going. Bullock in there. And penalty again to Scotland. Armstrong. Oh, that's a poor pass. Now, he could order a scrum, but let's hope he's not going to. Perhaps he'll give Scotland the kick again. They want to make substitutions. Doddy Weir, there he is. Scotland's most capped forward ever. Coming in to win his 55th cap. And Scott Murray, he's done well. Worked himself to the bone. And Rob Russell on as well. In fact, it's, they've changed shirt numbers too. It's David Hilton who's come on at prop. Well, that wasn't straight. It's no good Stuart Grimes complaining that he got a perfectly good ball off the top, because Gordon Bullock's throw just wasn't straight.
Well, you can see there Colin Hawke perfectly positioned, Bullock just throwing down the Scotland line.
Skinstad the pickup. Youssef de Bestes and chips, but it doesn't get past Simpson. Oh, and he'd have done better to go himself. It was always too tight there on the touchline. Weir getting up to it, beautifully picked up the top by Doddy Weir. That was just a straight leap. And a lovely kick. Scotland into the South African 22. They've got 6 minutes on the clock, plus probably 2 or 3 minutes of injury time to turn this one around. Well,
that's the type of play that Scotland should have been looking at right from the off in this second half. trying to pin South Africa down in their own half, and really it's the erratic throwing of the ball, trying to keep the ball alive, that's actually allowed South Africa back into this winning position.
A lot of bulking in the line out. The referee's happy though. Skinstad pushes it wide. They're going to try and run out. He's got good pace, Robbie Fleck. But picked off by Townsend. Logan wriggles free and sets it up. Armstrong, Townsend. Still in control. Beautifully slipped inside. Magical handling for Tate to score. Tate goes over for his 17th try for Scotland.
Well, Murrayfield erupts once again as Tate takes the opportunity, but it was the space that Gregor Townsend, the space that he's been looking for all throughout this game, suddenly opened up. He was the catalyst in this movement. Watch him, he looks outside, sees the ball outside, stays big in the feet, and has the awareness and sense to offload to Tate, who with power and strength goes over the line.
So Scotland not dead yet, 32-24 at the moment. Kenny Logan. Yes, safely through the post with the conversion. It's 32-26. A converted try will still do it for Scotland.
Well, there's the skill of Townsend there, the one-handed pass, but it was the angle of Alan Tate who came into support. Watch here. Townsend spots the half gap, but here just out of shot. Look at that angle that Alan Tate got. He read the situation in the gap in the South African defence so well.
About 5 minutes to go. Donny Weir. It was his decisive winning of the line out against the throw, which set up that position straight away as soon as he's come on for Scotland. Townsend, that's a good kick wide. He wanted a bounce that took it further on. Montgomery won't be taking any chances. Well, that's off the outside of the boot. Well, that's off the outside of the boot. The referee saying no obstruction. The crowd don't like it. Brendan Polser wriggling through. Oh, and a lovely little break again by Fleck to Andre Penta, and there's no Scottish defence left. And the crowd roaring their disapproval. They felt that in chasing that kick, Cameron Murray, I think it was taken out. The referee was having none of it.
Well, look at this space here. Great footwork by Fleck, who just comes off his right. Wrong foot's Cameron Murray here. Well, let's see who's taken out here. Well, it seemed pretty good to me. Venter with the pace actually to go round. Great footwork there by Robbie Fleck, and great acceleration and awareness. Look at the inside ankle from Venter.
Well, Penta, he'll run forever. Big, strong man, and he'll carry the ball up. And for such a big man, you know, he's 17 stones, he's got good pace too.
Here's actually the incident. Cammy Murray kicks. Oh, check from Percy Montgomery. That's what the crowd were upset about, because it then put him out of the game. But here's Fleck. Here's the try again from the reverse angle. Great support running there from Venter.
Van der Westhuizen into De Beer. South Africa now leading 39-26. And quickly shifted away to touch by Percy Montgomery. Yeah, the big thing about that obstruction, one, it should have been a penalty to Scotland, but two, all the forwards in front of him, because of it, were offside, and everybody was standing, hoping and waiting for the penalty. It was doubly important because it was a poor kick. Now Bullock, he hasn't always found his men. There's Doddy Weir, George christened, but Doddy known, and Bullock missing his man again. But the Springboks in trouble. Is it coming back to the Scottish side? Yes, it is. A little drop goal. That's over. Now, I don't know whether it's really going to do any good, but the fourth drop goal for Scotland, for Gregor Townsend. And that reduces the deficit.
Well, there was a nicely taken drop goal, but I question actually with a 10-point margin why that went over. We had to go for the try there and the goal.
I think so. 39-29 the scoreline now. But one thing, whatever happens in this game, Scotland have shown that they can live with South Africa. I mean, the last three games at Murrayfield, it's been 34-10, 68-10, 35-10. And the Scots lucky to come second. But they've been in this match nearly all the way through. Now under pressure again. Cameron Murray, he's in trouble. Well, that's going to be a try, one or the other. Who's got the touchdown? It's Joost van der Westhuizen, one of the great poachers, South Africa's top try scorer, record try scorer of all time, has now hoisted his tally to 27.
Well, an error here from Cameron Murray. He just slips as he goes down the ball. Rousseau gets the crucial left foot, and with nobody in Scotland's in-goal area, van der Westhuizen touches the ball down for a great try. But again, it's come from a Scotland error. Good awareness there as the ball turns the defence of Scotland, and Cammy Murray won't be happy with his play there.
Well, the spread goes to 15 points, which I think is a bit more than the bookies had it at, but it's certainly been a higher scoring game than anybody's expected. 29 points to 44, and Scotland losing out at the end in many ways just because they were having to play catch-up rugby. De Beer with the chance. We're now well into injury time. Over it goes. The flags go up, and the final whistle. South Africa have won it 46-29. Joost van der Westhuizen hoists his arms aloft. A very important game, because South Africa now know that they can look forward to the quarter-finals without going through the playoff stages. Scotland know that they're going to have to play that extra match. The final score, in the end, a convincing victory to South Africa, 46-29. But Scotland, Scott, well in it. They ought to take some encouragement out of that performance.
I thought that was a wonderful game of rugby, actually, and perhaps maybe the turning point for Scotland was their lack of control, the errors they actually put themselves under pressure. They're trying to move the ball instead of maybe perhaps kicking into position and attacking from South Africa's 22.
Yeah, something for everybody. Scotland showing that they are back. They certainly gave South Africa a match which is more than they've done in recent internationals, and they can come back from that. I think they'll know they made so many errors that they were the ones who really contributed in a big way to their defeat. But there were signs in there that John Leslie and Townsend were getting their act together. The final score, South Africa 46, Scotland 29.
Kenny, how disappointing is that after a great performance?
It's very disappointing. I mean, the first half was good, and I mean, it's a bit gutting, but we're a good team, the world champions, and we give it our best. A couple of late tries, you know, every time we put pressure on, they tend to score again, but we can take a lot from it. We're just very disappointed. It's a good performance for Scotland. Do
you think the result reflected their superiority?
Never. I mean, there's no way that I don't know what the final score was, but there's no way they were 15-20 points in front of us. We played well, and it's going to be a wee bit harder now, but there's a good team spirit there, and we'll get through it.
Thanks, Kenny.
Thanks.